I am proud of my country's heritage. We're living on freedom soil. Brave men have gone before me here, unafraid to pray and toil.
We're talking about elected representative government and how it's a good thing. It is superior only in the fact that it's better than other forms. It has its real problems. Two things that probably are worse is one is mob rule. Once you get the mob rule going, you end up with somebody using that. The mob doesn't have a centralized head, so to speak. And so, but there are heads out there who know how to use a mob, and they'll end up using that to their advantage. And the mob won't get the benefit at all. The mob always gets hurt. You should look at that in history. And the other one that has come up and become very popular is media rule. That the media will manipulate the people to get them to do certain things or believe certain things, make certain decisions, and force then the government to do certain things. The representatives, the elected representatives, need to find their integrity and keep their jobs by doing it. They need to insist that it's their job as the elected representatives to represent the people, and that neither the media nor the mob has that right, that privilege, so to speak. It is a privilege to represent the people. The people also need to force that. They need to insist that their representatives do the representing. That it's the representatives who make the laws, that the executive enforces the laws or sees that the laws are enforced, and that the judges judge the acts of men according to the laws. If the people don't do this, then people who would use your government, abuse the power, and misconstruct the power, they will. This is an historic thing. So it's up to the people, and you probably need to write letters, talk to people, specifically your representatives and others, and insist upon them doing their jobs. And the other thing you can do then is find the legal remedies of replacing those who don't. And primarily, whatever your decisions are the decisions of the people. And you stick with that. The key here is, though, that the representatives are the ones, the means by which you're doing these things. And certainly, when you get to, a whole group of people in a city, having the people have a voice in their representation isn't good. Now, again, elected representatives, there's problems there, things that you have to work with. It's just better than either mob rule and or having judges rule and or having the media rule. The problem with the media is they're owned. The media is always owned. Somebody owns it. It was Abraham Lincoln who went out and he bought a German newspaper because he wanted to promote himself in his political career, and he understood that the Germans were the second largest, or the first largest minority group in the United States of America. Still were at the 2000 census. I don't know about the 2010. But see, he understood it. So he owned the newspaper. Well, the newspaper printed that, yeah, Abraham Lincoln's a good fellow, you should vote for him. All media is owned. And somebody pays the guy who owns the media, and so that's what influences what the media does. It's never fair and balanced, just so you understand that. Ever. None of them. They're all owned by somebody. The mob is out of control. It doesn't have a control, but it will be controlled. And so both of those become very poor methods The judges, unfortunately, they may have great integrity. There's a lot of judges, I'm sure, are just wonderful. But they know better than anyone that in their business there are people who aren't. And they also know the great pressures that are put upon them to do things that those who either appointed them or control that appointment want done. Throughout history, you see that elected representation. It's something you should definitely consider trying to keep. It's part of our government. We simply aren't enforcing that we keep that. And so it'd be good to go back to it. It would probably be helpful. It would eliminate some of the problems that you're going to see. And if you want to take care of your grandchildren, I think it's a very good thing to do, because if you go in any of the other directions, your grandchildren will suffer because of it, my opinion. And I'm not trying to be a downer about the whole thing. I'm just saying this is history. You should really look at, if we're going to make a decision about anything, make sure the elected representatives are the ones who are doing it. It may not be the best. It certainly could have huge problems. It's just better than the others. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, our God still bears his mighty arm when men to him are loyal.
Hi, my name's Rod McBain. Please, if you get time, go to our website. That's www.carusoforgod, Kerusso, the number 4 and God.org, carusoforgod.org. Please subscribe to our channel. It helps us. Google likes it, and it helps us move forward. And if you would, please take a look at the coffee cups and t-shirts. Buy some of those. We'll try to keep them useful. And that helps us with the utilities and the groceries. Please take a look at our sponsors, see what they're up to. And I thank you for listening to what we're presenting. And if you have comments, please add them below.